All right, guys. So I'm gonna do a quick little video here. Some of you might know, some of you might not know, I'm cheap when it comes to certain things. And we are working on a backup motor for the Mustang for the 2026 season. I need some head studs. And I really don't want to spend the money on ARPs. I really want to put 1/2-inch head studs in it, but I don't want to pay for the fixture either to do that. So me being cheap, I always look for different alternatives. And you know, a lot of people use the Speedmaster ones or the China, the white box, PQY ones or whatever. I've tried a bunch of different ones. I found some that are terrible, and then I found some that are decent. But there are a couple sets on Amazon that I've not used yet. This XOTIC brand being one of them. I found a set of these on Marketplace. They were new in the box, and I really didn't want to spend the money on Amazon to buy them, so I found some that were like half price on Marketplace, like I said, brand new in the box. And I really just wanted to compare them to the little brown box ones from Amazon that are like 50 bucks. These are like $210 or $230 depending on which kit you get. And then these are like $40 to $55 on Amazon here. So I'm gonna open these up, try and compare the two of them. I'm certain they're not gonna be quality like ARPs, but we're gonna find out. All right, guys, so we're gonna open up these $40 ones first. Like I said, these come off Amazon. These are the PQY ones. And it's funny too, because most of the time these kits come with extra bolts. So there's usually like an extra bolt or two in here. Well, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. They might not have done it in this one. 1, 2, 3, 4. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Nope, this one did not have extra kits. And I only say that because I've got extras. Maybe it's just the long ones that they send extra bolts in. But these kits I've had decent luck with, you know, for minimal amounts of power. They, you know, kind of look like a generic stud. Do they look like an ARP? No, not really. The finish and stuff isn't as nice as, say, an ARP. They're not, like I said, they're not terrible. They're a decent one. As far as the bolt and the finish, I don't know if I've got any random ARP studs floating around here that we can compare, like the finish. No, this is one of the old cheap ones. This was one that was like a no-name. And if you look, I don't know if you can see this, but on this bolt, look how the base of that looks really weird. It had a really big chamfer in here. When I would tighten it, it actually mushroomed out. See if you can, it mushroomed the nut. It was terrible. I don't know if I've got any of the nuts in here that were the bad ones, but these were not like that, so that's why I started buying these and keeping these ones on the shelf. These ones don't have much of a chamfer or like a taper inside the base of it, but yeah, look how weird that bottom got. Yeah, that was a crappy one. I think those ones are like 40 some dollars. But yeah, these ones, you know, just a standard, kind of looks like a Speedmaster stud. Like I said, the finish on them does not look like an ARP. But they're good for, you know, 500, 600, 700 horsepower. Have I pushed them further than that? Absolutely. But the Mustang currently has ARPs in it. But like I said, I wanted to open up one of these and get my hands on a set of these, and I really didn't want to pay full price for them just because that's how I am. One thing I will say, they do a really good job packaging their kit. It's really nice. I mean, they spend a lot of time you know, writing up all these instructions, and it's like really nice quality stuff. So I mean, you would think, well, it's got to be really nice quality. Finger protector. Oh, that got really weird on all of a sudden. Some air fresheners. Lifetime warranty. What? Yeah, like I said, they spend a lot of time. Is this a sticker? I think it is of some sort. But like, you obviously spend a little bit more. You know, these, I think I said these are $200 and some online versus 40. But they come packaged like this, sealed up, nuts, bolts. I did go ahead and open the bolts earlier, but I was like, you know what, I need to do a video on this. They send it with lubricant, which is nice. Obviously, all the small nuts and washers are nicely packaged. And then just from looking at them, I mean, the washer actually looks really nice in those. But let's get here. Oh, they send it with sockets, but I've heard these sockets don't actually fit the nuts. They send them with Allen wrench to install them, which is kind of cool, I guess. And then my big thing was looking at the washers. I want to see what the washers look like in comparison, and the nuts look like in comparison as well. But, oh, that come off. They come like this. Honestly, like when you compare them, that's, to me, it kind of looks like a Speedmaster. The Speedmasters kind of have like a bronzy look to them. And supposedly these aren't 8740, these are 7200 series studs. So supposedly they're better. But if we compare them to this one, it is a different bolt. I mean, they're threaded different at the top, as you can see there. These, one thing I've always noticed, they are really long up top, so you get a bunch of stick out above the nut, which always drove me nuts because sometimes it'll hit the header. But I will say that's honestly a pretty nice looking stud when you compare it to one in your hands. But yeah, like these are like a solid black, and these kind of have like a purpley bronzy tint to them, which is kind of weird, but definitely not the same China head bolt by any means. I do like that these are shorter and there's not as much thread. I feel like this weakens the stud when you add that much thread that you don't need. So that's pretty cool. Man, I wish I had a set of ARPs handy that I could look at. And like I said, I don't believe they're going to be ARP quality, but I mean, that's a really nice stud, honestly. I was a little leery to put these on the motor, but I think I want to try them. I want to give it a shot and give it a real good test to see how good these things are. Because we are building basically the exact same motor that's in the car now. I may change to like a fire ring style head gasket instead of like the normal 7-layer, but I haven't decided yet because they're expensive compared to the normal 7 layers. But I do want to check out these washers and the nuts. ARP fasteners, their nuts and their washers are really nice. These washers kind of look like the normal washers that come with these $40 ones. I mean, maybe they're a little different. Let's see if I can get one out of the bag here. Nope, definitely a better washer. I mean, this is, yeah. I mean, look at the difference in size. Like, and the thickness. It's a much thicker washer. Definitely like a better washer. So that's good to know. And then let's see about the nuts real quick. The nut actually looks a lot better and is like heavy when you compare. Yes, much better on the nut. That alone tells me I'm probably going to start using these. These look more like an ARP fastener nut than these little cheap chintzy ones. I mean, the surface area on the base of them, like look how much bigger the base of that is. It's going to have much better clamping. That's pretty cool. Pretty cool. But yeah, overall they seem like a much better fastener when it comes down to it. One thing we didn't look at was the small nuts for the upper part of the bolts, or for the upper like small, what are they, 8mm? I think they're 8x125 bolts. One thing I will say is the PQY one is substantially larger than the other one. This one supposedly is a 10 millimeter nut, and I think this one I use a 11 on to tighten these 12 point. And then this kit comes with sockets. It comes with a 14 because the big ones are 14 millimeter, where like the PQY kit or some of the other ones, I think they're just half inch. I think is what you use on those. So obviously a bigger fastener requires a bigger head, and then they send you a 10 millimeter 12 point for the small ones. But everybody says that, like the reviews that I've seen, they say that it does not fit very well, and it does not. There is a lot of slop in there. It may be the socket, maybe it's the nut, I don't know. But we may end up using the larger nuts from the PQY kit. I mean, there's not the upper ones aren't real vital, but if you wanted to put a larger nut, you could just swap them. And then one thing I do dislike about the like PQY kits or the brown box kits, the studs for the 8 millimeter bolts don't have Allen heads in them. These ones do. So easier to get them out. The PQY ones, you got to grab them with a rat or with a pair of pliers and pull them out, which always drives me crazy. But man, I will tell you, these honestly look like a really nice fastener for the money. You know, and that's the thing about trying these, is there's not like anything in between, like a standard, you know, $50, $90 head stud kit to where you go to a $400 set of ARPs. There's kind of no in between. And I feel like this is kind of your option for an in between fastener for that. So that's kind of where I'm headed towards. I mean, if anybody's going to test them, I'm going to test them. I mean, we're going to put them in the Mustang backup motor here that you can see behind me. I've contemplated on ditching the 7-layer head gaskets and going to the fire ring head gaskets, the whatever they call them, the Athena gaskets or whatever. We thought about trying some of those. But I hate to put like $300 worth of head gaskets on this thing when I put $100 or $200 worth of head studs in it. So I may end up just going back to the standard 7 layers if we end up having a failure because of, you know, cheap hardware. We can always pull them back off, you know, by then buy a set of ARPs, since we'll know that we're kind of leaning on the edge of it. Because right now the car's got ARPs in it. But they're just the standard 8740 Pro Series studs. They're not ARP 2000s or nothing. I wish they were ARP 2000, but those are expensive, like $450. But I'm one of those people, I always try this stuff, and I try it so other people don't have to. So I'm going to give these a shot, and we're going to lean on this thing and see what happens. Hopefully all works good. We've got a belly pan on the car, so good thing. But yeah, overall, I'm pretty pleased with my purchase. This is probably going to be like a standard for my budget stock bottom end motors, mainly because most people don't want to spend $400 on head studs, and I don't blame them. Most people aren't pushing them as hard as I am either. But for your everyday weekend cruiser and stuff, I feel like this is going to be a really good stud. You know, if you're trying to make 700-800 horsepower, I think this thing's going to be the ticket. You can do it, you know, on these cheaper ones, the brown box ones. But overall, I feel like this just feels like a better fastener. I am curious to see how it threads in the block. Sorry if I sound weird. My mic's down here bouncing around on my stomach. I know a lot of times the cheap ones, you thread them in, and you can always tell they just kind of, well, I need to clean the threads out better in this block apparently, because they do not feel nice. Those did not. I got a chaser bolt I need to run through them. Oh, but there's probably junk in these threads, so I need to get a, yeah, there is junk in these threads from getting it surfaced and stuff. But anyways, like I said, we are probably going to start using these fasteners on some of our budget stuff. And I'm pretty excited to see how well they work and how they stand up to the abuse that I put my stuff through. So anyways, quick little video. I thought it'd be neat to put together. And once I picked these up, and I was like, man, I'm really curious about them. And I'm sure other people are too when they get online. They're like, man, I don't know. Because you got $50 for these brown ones, or you got $210 for these blue box ones. And you always wonder, like, are they just the same Chinese ones reboxed and put a shiny label on it, and then they're just taxing me on it? I can tell you for certain, these are an entirely different fastener. Stud, nuts, washers, all the above. So take that for what it's worth, and you know, use at your own risk. And hopefully, I don't know, we'll see what happens. But anyways, hope everybody has had a good holiday, and hopefully this year I can put my foot down, put my head down and grind, and start getting y'all some more videos. That's going to be my New Year's resolution this year. I don't normally do them, but that's the one I'm doing this year. So anyways, hope you all have a good week. Thanks for watching. Keep following along. Comment, like, subscribe. We'll see you on the next one. Peace.